Hey guys, before this episode begins, I just wanted to give some shout outs to some really important people that have done amazing things for the podcast and for my music project Downer in the past week. First, I'll start with Melissa Schiller of Sleepy Wakey and North Pole House, which is another house venue out in Davis. She played part of the podcast interview I did with Jib Haddon. It was about a month ago. I talked to him about Bart's House, his music venue, his house venue that he runs, and also Bart's Fest. It's really cool of her that she put me on the radio. It's amazing. And she also featured Downer on the same episode because I'm playing as Downer at Bart's Fest. And so the whole episode of Sleepy Wakey that featured both the closers and Downer was primarily focused on Bart's Fest, which is this Saturday. So thank you, Melissa. You're amazing for that. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Seer Comics on Instagram for shouting out Downer and my EP Happy Hour on their Music Mondays last week. It was really cool of them. I had no prior interaction to them before. They just randomly shouted me out. Apparently they really like the EP and they're pushing for me to make more music, which I really appreciate. They're amazing dudes. Please support them, what they're trying to do for the indie community across the nation, really, or across the world is really amazing. I respect them a lot. And then second thing I wanted to hit on is just that I'm going to be playing a show as Downer, my first show as Downer ever, this Saturday, the 7th, at Bart's House. So if you want to come, please DM the Closers Podcast Instagram account, or if you know of the Downer Instagram account at DownerCA, please follow that. Hit me up there or on my personal account, and I'll be able to help you out and give you the address if you are for sure coming. I'm really excited. I'm going to be playing 2 new songs along with 3 from the EP, and I'm going to be also playing the OG song Curb. So if you know anything about that, yeah, hope you're excited. Hope to see you there. This episode that's coming up is really cool. It branches in a lot of different areas that I wasn't expecting, but it's good. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Like, we start talking about their photography, and then we jump into their relationship, and then we go into go a little personal, and then we jump back and we do talk about the zodiac for a second, astrology and all that, and then we talk about Mackenzie's day job and Allie and her tendencies as just a person, her character, because obviously I know Allie pretty well, and Mackenzie obviously knows her very well because they're in a relationship. So it's a great conversation. You guys are going to love it. And I'll just shut up now and let the intro music begin. Here's Happy Hour, the theme song of the Closers Podcast, at least for now. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So here's the song. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 21st episode of the Closers Podcast. Yeah, 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today I have 2 amazing guests for you guys. And before we get to them, though, I have to just say, please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast. And we have a YouTube channel now. Everybody. Yes. Please subscribe. That helps out the channel a lot, helps out the show a lot. And if you have any suggestions or anything, just DM me on Instagram, because I'm always taking suggestions, trying to improve the show. I'm going to start featuring local music on the podcast as well. So if you want your band or your, art to be shown to everybody in the outro and the intro of each episode, just DM me, email me at closerspodcast@gmail.com. I think that is it. And I'll feature it. But without any further ado, we got Alley Cat Photography in the house.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're really good. We're excited to be here.
Really?
Yeah, we've never been on a podcast. This is all very fancy.
Have you always wanted to be on a podcast?
Absolutely.
We like talking.
Do you?
She's a communications major, and
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Ah. What's your favorite thing to talk about? Do you have a favorite
Ranges.
thing?
Yeah, I like fashion, and I think we both like fashion and photography. That's kind of
Really?
Yeah.
the main gig. Yeah.
Fashion. So like what specific type? Like streetwear or more like?
Yeah, like
She's more... Well, you're focused more on androgyny right now.
I like androgynous fashion, genderless fashion. That's
Genderless
kind of
fashion.
that's the gig. Yeah.
Nice. What, for everybody that doesn't know what that is listening, what is androgynous fashion?
Androgyny as a whole is kind
Yeah.
of like, it's both genders and genderless. It's like female wearing men's clothing and men wearing women's clothing and interchanging pieces of clothing to kind of form a new look and to express yourself
Right.
in a different way.
Nice.
Like these are men's pants that I bought today, and
Really?
they look sick. Yeah, so
They do.
thank you.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, you're seeing more and more, unisex
Yeah.
garments around. And it's really cool. I mean, I don't really see. I own like a woman's shirt that I wore
Yeah.
when I did pictures with you guys.
I love that shirt.
Yeah, and I was like, I found out the morning of, I was like, wow, this is actually a woman's shirt. And I was like, but it doesn't matter because it fits me. It looks good. No one would care.
yeah.
Like,
And
Yeah.
I remember telling you, who cares?
yeah, and I was
It's
like, you're right.
2019.
You're right. Like, who does care? And it looks good. And
Yep.
I love it. I wear it all the time. But yeah, I haven't introduced you guys yet. See, we're already like getting ahead of ourselves. Wow, like this is gonna be a really good show.
No, I
Um,
feel like I already know you.
Oh yeah, I already know. I already feel. Yeah, I feel like I already know you too. But we got my good friend Alle Sarantopulos, right? That's how you say it. I said it
Yeah,
right. Thank
you did.
fucking God. And then Mackenzie Ablog.
Yep.
Yes.
Wait, Ablog.
Oh,
with a hard G.
Ablog. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dang, I was so close. But
That's okay.
so you guys do photography.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, do we start from the beginning?
Let's-
Or...
You've been doing photography for a long time, like since high
Yes.
school. I'm
Yes.
kind of newer into
Really?
that world. Yeah. Yeah, so
The story begins with Allie.
Oh, yeah.
Alessandra.
I mean, if we're going to go way, way back,
Sure, as far
It-
back as you want.
all right, well, I mean, my photography started out with just the simple digital compact Coolpix Nikon. I don't know if anyone ever had
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
but
yeah. I
it's
know
one
what
of
you're talking
those
about.
that you just take the picture and
Yeah.
it shows up on your little tiny screen. And
Right.
then it was my dad that told me, wow, like you really have an eye for this. And I started uploading things on Facebook, and then I was uploading my pictures on Pinterest. And then a bunch of people on Pinterest started following me. Like now I have like 20,000 followers on Pinterest.
Dang,
I'm
famous.
like, wow, that took off because of my photos. That's amazing.
we're in the
Wow.
presence of a celebrity.
I know, I didn't even know that about you. You're the highest profile person I've had on this podcast so far. I didn't even know. Holy shit, now I'm nervous.
I mean, only in the Pinterest world. We're building the other social media platforms.
Oh, really?
Still, but yeah, and then let's see. Then middle school started, and I was on the yearbook staff,
Uh-huh.
and that's when the photography continued. And then high school came around, and that was back in the TDA days.
What is TDA for everybody listening that doesn't know?
So that is the Technical Digital Arts Academy, run by good old Kent Pickering.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Now that's a name right there. Yes, sir.
And yeah, and then that took off from developing film, which you probably remember.
Yes, I
yeah. And then just taking a lot of digital photography courses, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over Photoshop.
Wow, blood?
And
There's blood involved? Wow.
I mean,
Maybe like a paper cut.
yeah. And then let's see. And then I turned 18 and I was gifted my first and current camera.
What is it?
It's a Canon Rebel.
Which one?
I should know that for sure, shouldn't I?
T6i?
It's the same one you have up there.
Yeah, it's a T6i.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Nah, don't be embarrassed. You don't need to know your hardware to be a photographer.
And then, and then it just continued from there. It kind of took a darker turn when we lost my dad, and I literally put the camera up on the shelf. I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
I had no motivation to even... no motivation to shoot anything.
Right.
I was not in a good place, and I just didn't have the muse or the drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was...
But you were able to get out of that. Yes. But...
Missy over here.
Hi, I'm Missy. We had met... we are in a relationship, for those who are listening.
Really? I didn't even know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we've been together for like almost a year and a half. It's been like a year and like 3 months or so, I guess.
That's
coming up on that.
It feels like
It feels like it's been a lot longer.
Like it's been, see, lesbians nest. So we've been living together for a while now, and so that makes it feel like we're married.
Yeah.
We're not married, but we are in a relationship, and the reason we got together was photography, basically. Because for me, the role that photography has played in my life is kind of, I've never really been the one behind the camera. I started to build a lot of confidence once I shaved all my hair off, and I started doing photo shoots with my friends. And, I was in a relationship with somebody who didn't like me modeling, didn't support me posting my photos, things like that.
Really restrictive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very possessive. And so by me looking at myself in photos through the eyes of someone who thinks that I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been such a confidence booster. And
That's
so
awesome.
I liked modeling. She liked taking pictures. We met online because we'd both gotten out of long relationships with men.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of looking for friends. We were both kind of isolated at that point. We needed friends, and so we were like, hey, you do photography. I like to model, so let's hang out, and that's where it started. So we have a bunch of pictures from the day we met, which is great. So
that's so cute.
Yeah, not a lot of people have that, so we're lucky that that's the case.
Wow. So how was it the first time you guys met? Like, where'd you guys meet? What'd you guys do?
Well, we did the thing you're not supposed to do.
Oh no!
Yeah. She came to my house for the first time we met.
Okay.
So it's
But I met the whole fam.
Yeah, fam was there, so it wasn't like I'm not dangerous, but so it worked out. But she showed up, and I was only in half makeup. I only had eyebrows on, so I made her sit and like watch me do my makeup before we went out. And she tolerated that.
I was smitten. I didn't care.
Oh, really?
You're so sweet. Because, I don't know. It was so natural immediately upon meeting.
It just felt right.
I felt like I'd known you forever. And
wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I don't know. And then we went out. We went to the local park. That's like 2 minutes away from my house, and we did some portraits. And that's been kind of our focus of Alley Cat photography. Has been portraits. Yeah.
That's cool.
I know that's the main thing you like to do, and I've accompanied you on photo shoots before, and I do makeup, and so I will do someone's makeup, and she'll take the picture, or I'll take the extra camera, and I'll come and I'll shoot with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So like, when did the idea for you guys to partner, well, not just partner up in the sense of like actually like in a relationship, but partner up like in this business and create something, when did that come about?
Okay. Well, around that time, I was jumping around like from major to major regarding school.
Yeah.
And coming home just being so upset. Like, I was jumping from, like, being an English major, going into aircraft mechanics.
Whoa.
I kept telling her, like, I don't know what the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. And she finally sat me down one night and said, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, you need to decide, what are you feeling that you want to do with your life? And
That's a hard question.
That is a very hard question.
It was,
but
okay. So I know nobody's gonna have it figured out. Like,
yeah.
we're all like, you know, around 22 years old. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing
Exactly.
ever.
No.
Yeah.
But you know, you obviously have something that you really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think it's always good to run with that. Like, if, you know, you with this podcast and with your music, you know, it's something that you have built upon and it's something that you're putting your time into. Mm-hmm. So you might as well be doing something worthwhile if you're going to be doing something at all.
Exactly. And now is the time to pursue, you know, your passions, because one day you're not going to be able to because of responsibilities. And
yeah, that's what she's told me before as well. Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys... So from that conversation stemmed the idea.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and it was immediately the next day that I went into my profile for school, and I just pretty much jumped into, what do I have to take to be a photography major?
Right.
Which, I mean, spoiler alert, I am not a photography major, but
Sure.
The whole point of that was that I just made that jump and I enrolled into a photography course.
Right.
And it blew her away. She was like, she's like, this shows you that this is what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, it was nothing but great things came from that decision. And so
What type of things came from it?
Well, I mean, I took the course and it gave me a huge refresher. Like, I was, I mean, there were so many things in Photoshop that I completely forgot from high school.
Oh, yeah.
So that was great. And then it was kind of like I got to use my camera even more, and I had to. Like, there were assignments due, and I'm like, well, I want to get a good grade on this.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, it also got me into my current major, which now I'm studying mass communication and media studies. So it was kind of like I took the photo course along with a mass media course.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of decided, well, you know, I still enjoy the aspect of photography.
Yeah.
But I would love to keep that along the side of, you know, possibly being a reporter or working in a PR department. So...
And
keeping your options open.
Yes.
Yeah, and having our Instagram page is... So from that conversation that we had about, like, what it is that you want to do, we started that Instagram page, and now you have something to show everyone the stuff that you're doing in all of these courses. And that's... We've actually gotten a decent amount of business.
Really?
From that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm kind of... Allie's way too nice. So I've sort of taken on the role of negotiating...
like prices
and I have... You know, I've booked a lot of sessions for her because I show everybody her work. All of my friends know that she's a photographer, so everybody wants portraits.
Right.
So that's something we've kind of just squished together. I'm good at negotiating and telling people what to do, and she's good at the art. So
yeah,
that's
really cool.
And I mean, that really took off when we had a huge assignment to photograph. It was pretty much a rehearsal for one of CRC's dance showcases. So it was, God, how many students?
I don't know. It was, there was a lot of people. There was many dance groups who went up there, and it was a dark theater. It was just the rehearsal, but we did the whole thing. We all 4 hours long. We dressed all in black, and we both had cameras, and we're running around shooting. And it turned out really great.
That's awesome.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And now we have lots of photos to post from that whenever we want, so people can see what it is that we do. And action shots are not easy to do, so that's something we had to get our footing to figure out. And especially me, I'm not a photographer.
Right.
I like art. I've always liked art.
Yeah.
But she's kind of taught me how to actually use a camera, and how to deal with brightness and shadows and
like AV and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And ISOs and God.
I know, it's a headache.
What a headache, man. Jeez. Do you guys shoot in manual or do you guys use AV?
Oh, God. I don't. We have a friend that I met when I took the photo course through CRC.
Yeah.
She prefers to shoot in manual, and that's fantastic.
Oh,
if
of course,
that's your thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I work so fast that it's like I have no time. Kind of like time is money.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that I think Mackenzie's kind of been drawn to shooting in automatic instead as well, just because I don't know. Like I said, if you prefer manual, fantastic.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong to shoot in whatever you want to shoot with. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was just curious for myself.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm always curious about the preferences. But for everybody listening, like manual is a setting on the camera that like allows you to adjust almost everything. Whereas AV, there's some preset things, but you can still adjust a lot in AV.
That's true.
So.
Very true.
But it's just whatever you're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, like, when was the point at which, when in the business, when you guys were like, we got something, like, we can actually do this together for a long time?
I think when people actually started asking us if we could, do shoots for them, I think it always just kind of made sense because, I mean, we're so similar. Like, if we weren't dating, we'd probably be best friends.
Right.
Like, I'm an esthetician, and I'm licensed in makeup. I'm licensed in color correction and things like that. So I know what looks good on camera as far as makeup goes. And she has been doing photography forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's her passion. She has a tattoo of a camera on her wrist. Like, that's, so it made sense. We both like art. We work really well together. I mean, we moved in together after like 5 months.
Wow.
And it's been, I mean, obviously, like, there's fights and stuff, but like, it's been relatively smooth sailing. Like, it's really easy to be around you, to be honest. Like, so it works, so. Oh,
is she blushing? Is that red?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
No, it's just my makeup.
Yeah, it's just your makeup. Yes.
But I think it is, when you go into a business together, you have to find someone that you're compatible with.
Oh, definitely.
And we spend like every second of the day together. Yeah. And I don't know, it just works. And we plan on moving out and getting our own place like late December. And
nice.
We are looking to get a 2-bedroom so that we can hopefully fit a studio into our place. Yeah. We already have a stand for a backdrop, so we can do like professional looking stuff.
That's really cool. And so you guys would be able to accommodate people that want more like professional like studio portraits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, we got a huge steal on the backdrop stand. Like,
really?
It was during, I don't know if it was during Christmas or if it was during one of those like Prime days on Amazon, but it was
What's the difference at this point?
I know, right?
Nowadays. Like...
Yeah, but it was my younger sister that was like, dude, get on Amazon. There's a backdrop stand for this much.
Yeah.
Buy it. And it was Mackenzie that was like, yes, do it. We need it. So.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and we've already got reflectors and tripods and things like that. And
we have lighting.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
I like to model. I like having pictures taken of me, so it helps. It helps both of us, to be honest. So in this room in our house, what I picture is like a clothing rack with costume pieces and like cool jackets that you find at thrift stores, but also a place where I can do makeup, and then we have the backdrop and the lighting and things like that. That would be like the art room.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
No, that would help you guys out a lot. I know that would definitely set you guys apart from everybody else. That's what it takes. You got to like just be forward when it comes to making changes and stuff and setting yourselves apart from the rest of the market is what I'm learning in school and stuff. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys practice on each other a lot, like with taking pictures? Like, do you take pictures of her a lot just for practice and stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you kind of took a glance at all of the different folders that I have stacked up from different photo shoots, the majority of them are either of Mackenzie
Yeah.
or... Well, actually, before I started shooting Mackenzie, I was shooting my friend Brenna for a very long time.
Oh.
So it's kind of like
Brenna.
it's either Brenna or it's Mackenzie, but
Uh-huh.
a lot of them has been majority of Mackenzie lately, just because. I mean, she's like I said, we live together, and you know, she's always
She's
down
most accessible. Yeah.
she's always down to do like these makeup looks.
I think one of the perks of being in a lesbian relationship is that we're always down to do stuff like that. Like, she will let me practice my makeup on her, like whenever, and I'm always down for pictures. Like, I don't know, we like all of this same stuff. So you cut out the middleman, and it's just like, all right, let's go. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's not much thinking involved because you guys already know. You guys are on the same page from the get-go.
Yeah, we'll be driving down the street and be like, ooh, look at that place. That looks like a great place to take pictures. Let's go tomorrow, you know?
Well, and the nice part is, well, I mean, the awkward part for now is that for the Instagram page at the moment, we were very MIA for a long time. And it wasn't until literally this morning that I kind of like filled in the gaps a little bit. But what's nice is that in between assignments or gigs, that there will always be a shoot that I did of her. I'm like, well, I'm just going to post these and just kind of keep it going, because the agreement was, let's try to post something every day. So
that's cool.
Which kind of slacked on recently.
It
But,
happens.
you know.
It happens. You get busy, man.
Yeah. We're still finding our footing, but even so, I mean, having this Instagram page has been awesome for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, however often we're on it, like, people follow us and we have stuff to post. So, it's just good. I think it's been good for both of us.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, with Instagram, it's just so easy to get exposure, especially when you are a photography page. Like, people are constantly looking at pictures. So, I mean, it makes sense why you guys would get more traction. When it comes to customers, how's that been for you guys?
Oh.
It's been good. I mean, it's like I said, I just talk about her all the time. Like, and I'm constantly promoting your stuff, and so people will... All you have to do to book a session with us, basically, is just DM us at Alley Cat Photography. And
or we have a Gmail.
Yeah, or we have a Gmail. Nobody uses the Gmail, though.
Yeah, no.
Instagram is the easiest way.
Is that what you guys prefer?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I have so many Gmail accounts at this point, and I was the one that started it, so... It's easy for things to get buried in that sense.
Yeah, and we're always on Instagram, so it's easier. But I've had an esthetician that I used to work with. She's now a yoga instructor, and so she asked us to go do a photo shoot with her in the woods doing different yoga poses.
Sick.
Which was so much fun. Oh my God.
Really?
It was beautiful. I didn't get to accompany them on that one, but it turned out amazing. They look beautiful.
Yeah.
And what I really have liked about it is the diversity, like, of the types of shoots that we've done, because, you know, Allie took your picture a while ago, very cool indie, kind of darker shoot.
It was awesome. I loved it.
That's you.
Thank you. Yes.
And then we do, she's taken photos of animals. She's gone to the zoo and done that.
Yeah, I saw those.
She's done the yoga shoot. We've done the dance shoot. And then for me, liking androgynous fashion and being fluid in what I do. Like, you can take that and do all kinds of photo shoots with it. Most of the time I'm either like, I'm dressed like a boy, or I'm glam. Like giant eyelashes, like lipstick, things like that. So we can be really diverse in the kind of pictures that we do, so that people can see we can do kind of anything. So that makes it easy.
Well, and a great benefit from this regarding customers and clients, that it's pretty much that family, friends, as well as family members know that this is something we're doing. So, I mean, it was...
all word of mouth. Word of mouth helps a lot. Yeah.
So it was, let's see, like a recent client was her brother, because they had their prom.
Oh,
so it was
cute.
How sweet.
It was her brother, his girlfriend, and then like 4 other girls. And it was great, because that was around the time that Mackenzie was saying, you really need to practice giving direction. Like, she was saying, I want you to tell your clients how to pose, like,
Yeah.
you know, kind of get used to doing that. Like, don't be so afraid.
Yeah.
And so it was that shoot that I did all my research and kind of just went for it and being all artsy and everything. And that's when I was, like, positioning the girls and saying, can you look down? Can you look over this way? I need you to turn around this way. And...
because not everybody knows what to do. It's It's sometimes it's so awkward to get in front of a camera,
especially when you don't know the photographer.
Exactly.
And you're just like there, just like kind of, you don't want them to get into their own shell. That's pretty bad.
There's kind of two types of people. There's the one who's like me, who's like, ooh, this is my good side. Hold on, let me turn around.
Yeah.
And then some people, like, you know, these are high school kids, like, just for prom, they just stand around and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's good to have an idea of what you want to do and to be able to position them the way that you want, because not everybody is extremely comfortable, but you know, everybody likes pictures.
Yeah, so. Definitely.
But I mean, even since then, like, I've kind of picked up when it comes to just doing a ton of research before a client's session. And then I still tend to pull ideas during a session, but I mean, it's helped a ton, because I mean, the last few shoots that I've done was of her sister for her cheerleading portraits. And then I did my first beach photo shoot for senior portraits.
Oh, wow.
And
on the beach.
I mean, just doing this research just really helps, because it's kind of like, okay, well, this family member or the family friend has asked us to do this, and, you know, I don't want to disappoint them. We don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there always pressure on your, like, do you always put pressure on yourself when you go into a shoot? You're just like, I gotta make this good, and like...
Allie puts pressure on herself no matter what she's doing. It doesn't matter if it's photography or if it's, like, literally anything.
I still get so nervous, and it's not until I get a few shots in that I'm finally feeling okay. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here, dude. I understand. I'm right there with you.
I mean, even your shoot, like,
you were nervous?
Oh God, yeah.
Really?
I was like, this has to be good.
Aww.
Like, she knows how nervous I was.
Oh.
I was like, this has to be good, and she's like, you're fine. And I was like, but what if it's shitty?
This is every conversation we've had ever, like, about photography, about work, about school. Like, you're literally fine. You're doing so well. She's like, I'm gonna fail all my classes. I'm like, you have a 90% in every class. Like, can you shut up? Like, you're literally fine.
Constant reassurance. But hey, man, that's I mean, people need that. Reassurance is nice.
That's also one of my main jobs in this business is reassuring Allie and telling her everything's fine, because it is.
She's also the therapy department in the business.
I have a lot of hats in this business.
Oh man. But I mean, I feel like pressure is always going to follow you regardless of what you do. I mean, that's just one of those things. But I know that, like, I feel like it's a different type of pressure when you're a photographer, because you don't know who you're going to really be working with all the time. And you have to be super, like, adaptable to the different types of clients, like how you were saying.
Very true.
Like, one shoot you're going to do, like, 18-year-old kids at prom, and then the next one you're going to be with, like, a good friend who understands photography too, and like, can work with you. And,
absolutely. And that does make sense, because, I mean, like you were saying, for specific example, for the prom photo shoot, I mean, I only knew her brother, and I just met his girlfriend, and then there were a few of her friends that...
you had an audience. You had quite an audience.
I did have
for that
an
one, because, you know, prom, like, parents come, friends come to look, and, you know.
But,
how were the parents?
Oh, they were great.
They were great?
I mean, they were
okay.
fine.
Well, that's good.
But I think that... I mean, I won't name names, but I mean, I feel like there are a few of the friends that may have outwardly questioned my technique, or the fact that I shoot kind of, like, continuous.
I didn't know that.
And they were kind of like, oh my God. And I'm like, y'all got something to say?
Listen, you want good pictures or not?
Well, like, what were they saying? Or, like, what did you feel like they were kind of hinting at?
Well, I mean, I feel like it was maybe the continuous shooting, which that's just a habit of mine. And that's when you tend to hear the shutter just repeatedly going off.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they were like, oh, like, this is interesting, and I'm I'm just doing my job. I'm
Yeah.
making you look pretty.
Yeah.
Candid shots are the best shots.
Yes.
So keep it going.
And that's the way how to do them.
Yeah, like people just don't understand.
Trust the process.
Yeah, exactly. Trust the process. It's fine.
But like you were saying, it can have some dynamic when you're shooting with a stranger or with someone that you already know. Mm-hmm. But I guess it just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So.
With that one specific shoot with like Mackenzie's brother and his friends, because they were younger, was it easier for you to kind of just be like, all right, move here, do this, do that? Or was that not really a thought?
I
haven't thought about
guess so. Although, I mean, just for me personally, I was still intimidated no matter what.
High schoolers are intimidating, man. I don't know what it is about them. They're just so like, I mean, yeah. It's just...
I mean, for her brother, like, I already know him, so I was like, oh, it's just Kyle. Like, I'm not intimidated. But I don't know. I think there were a few times that, like, I didn't want the girls to think that I was being excessive with, like, you know, overly shooting, or, you know.
I think a lot of the worries like are in your head. I don't think that, you know, I mean, I think it's who you vibe with, you know, how nervous you are. It just is about who you vibe with, because when you're shooting with me or Marco or Brenna, like, that's different than when you're shooting with strangers. And even you shot with that esthetician friend of mine that you had never met before, and that turned out great. So it just depends on the person, and it depends on, you know, if you share the same vision, if you vibe with them, and I don't know. It's
very true.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, the people who are taking pictures with us ask us to do it because they want pictures taken, because they like it, you know. So it should just be fun for everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you guys ever shoot like concerts and stuff like that?
Yes, 100%.
We love drag shows.
Oh,
we love drag queens.
I've heard about
I keep
that.
telling her to bring her camera and shoot the queens. Because they like getting their picture taken anyways. Like, they like being the center of attention. That's why they're queens.
But I've only been hesitant because I always want to cover ourselves when it comes to if someone panics, if they see their photo out there. Like, you know, I don't know someone's business.
But if you're performing...
Well, yeah,
like,
that's true.
You know, and we see people with cameras in there all the time. I'm like, look, he brought his camera, and she's like, I don't know. We're getting there. We're getting there.
That's
like,
good.
even if I shoot, if a client happens to be a minor, I always ask the parent.
Yeah.
Oh,
do you mind if they end up on the Instagram page?
Yeah, that's important.
Because, you know, if we don't ask that, I don't want us to get sent to court. So.
And I think that's just smart. I don't think... Yeah. Like, most people is our age who are starting their own little business, like, they probably don't think about things like that. So I'm glad that I didn't think about that. So I'm glad that you're just as nervous as you are all the time, because you always think of the worst case scenario so that we can prevent the worst case scenario.
And that's important.
Yeah. That's why we're a good team, because I'm reckless and she's careful, and we like
you balance each other.
Exactly.
It's all about balance.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, no, I've learned that when you run your own stuff, it's always better to just, like, communicate as much as you can with whoever. Because, like, you don't want a situation where you think you just assume something and then it just turns into a big deal.
Yes.
But for a communications major, I'm assuming that's pretty easy for you to do. Yeah. Communicate, right?
It's the best policy. Yeah. It's the only way to get things done. Especially when you have clients that you don't know very well. Yeah. Communicating your expectations, what their expectations are, what your expectations are, and what you expect from each other is important. So having a good, good communication skills is important when you're doing this. When you're working with somebody one-on-one. Right. You want to make sure that they're happy, Mm-hmm. Yeah. If she had gone to do your photo shoot and had just assumed what it was, maybe it would have been like a bright and sunshiny shoot where, it's not what you wanted.
That would have been super funny if she assumed that. Just her knowing me for so long and be like, okay, Marco, so I want you to stand in this, like...
Stand in the sunflower field for me
exactly.
and smile.
That would have been kind of cool, though. Just like a brooding, dark,
that might
figure
be cool.
in like a flower bed or some shit.
Well, I mean... There were sections of your shoot that you just happened to be in the sunshine.
Yeah. I like those pictures, though. I mean, I like all the pictures. I feel like the different moods that were encapsulated were,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of variety, which is what I was going for. I needed variety because I had nothing, so.
What I liked looking at in those photos, or where it would be like, cool guy against a brick wall, and then the next picture, we just see you cracking up at something that she's saying behind the camera, which those are amazing photos. Like when you're laughing at something and you're having a genuine moment with the photographer. Yeah. I think those are the best pictures.
Oh, definitely.
To be honest, with anybody. I think that's why it's important for you to communicate and to vibe with your client.
Oh, definitely.
You know, candid is the best.
And that's why I wanted to shoot him with Allie specifically, because in high school, she took pictures of me for a project.
Yeah.
And I got so many comments about them, like, while we were in school.
True. Aww. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen them before. You might have. I don't know.
They were my, like, early studio portraits.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. There's been a lot of photos that we've gone through and have shown me. So.
But yeah, so, and, like, a lot of people liked them, and I was like, Allie knows how to get my good sides. Mm-hmm. And we get along, so it'll be easy to just, like, take these photos. And, like, it was super easy, and I got a good variety. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. I think at some points, which I think I still tend to do with other clients, that, you know, I'll be shooting, and they'll be in their posts, and then I'll end up saying something like, "Yes, queen."
Yes, work it.
That's what would always get me. Yep. That's what would always, because I'd be there just like, and then she'd be like, "Oh my god, yes." I'm just like, bro.
Oh, bitch, you know your angles.
and then I had to I step away for a second. I'm just like, okay, I need to recollect myself. And then I go back.
Or I think there was one that I was trying to get him to do like this pose where it was like he was like semi turning around.
Oh yeah.
And I had my hair up, and I still had longer hair, and so I said, you know, just kind of like turn around, and my ponytail would whip around. Yeah. I'm like, well, don't do that, but
yeah, it like
not
whipped
as
around.
Femme, but
it was super funny, and I was like, oh, I could be femme, and then like she would, and then it would make her laugh, which would make me laugh more. It just was, and then
I wish people could see right now like what was happening, like the poses that you guys are doing. It's really cute.
Yeah. I wish I had the camera running right now. Oh well.
Yeah,
whatever.
really. Yeah.
Whatever. If you know me in real life, you know exactly what I just did, probably. So
yeah, true.
It's fine. But yeah, do you guys have any shoots coming up that you're excited for that you could talk about?
Yes. No, I'm blanking on that. Well, her brother has it's his senior year, so I have his senior portraits that I am scheduled to do in October because we wanted to do a fall shoot because it is so extremely hot out still.
Yes, it is.
So. We also have one of my ex-coworkers is going to grad school, so she needs headshots for her resume.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be doing that at some point in the near future. That's not a solidified date yet, but that's been brought up. And I'm kind of cleaning out my wardrobe right now and introducing more, you know, androgynous fashion. Right. And so I'd like to take some more like that because we're used to like glam, femme, glam, queen. So yes,
Is there have you guys had a client where they ask for advice from you on like outfits and stuff like that?
I mean,
no. Not yet.
No,
not yet. I've been I have kind of been the one to ask about makeup lately. It's kind of more recently that I've decided to dive into my love of fashion. Right. Because, you know, for the longest time, I didn't know how to dress for my body, and I didn't know, because especially, you know, I'm a plus size person. I'm large and in charge, chunky yet funky, but they don't make androgynous clothes for plus size people. Right. So it's been a process trying to like figure out the style and making it look cool. So I think once I get that down and I get you to take pictures of me, you know, that's where the confidence stems from. Again, like I said before, seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who loves you and someone who thinks that you're beautiful makes world of difference.
Well, and she has wanted to start modeling again. So, nice. I mean, those will probably also mesh into the upcoming shoots. that we have.
Check us out at Alley Cat Photography if you want to see my modeling.
True, yeah.
Are you guys on anything else other than Instagram?
Oh God. There is a Facebook page, but it's only under my full name, just because Facebook kind of just recognized it as a business. Air quotes.
I mean, we probably should do a Facebook. We're still trying to find our footing, I think, with Alley Cat and figuring out the format in which our pictures look good. Yeah. I think we've kind of discovered the format, like 3 pictures in a row. You know, I know a lot of people do that, and I think that looks good for the kind of shoots that we do.
She was the one that suggested that, and she is right. It made the page look
cohesive.
Yeah. I mean, it looks 100% better because before it looked very sporadic, very hectic, and now it looks organized. So it's kind of like you can see the diversity of different clients, different shoots.
Just by scrolling through instead of having to like select each individual picture.
Yes,
that makes sense.
And posting one photo at a time instead of, you know, there's that thing on Instagram where you can. It looks like the little flip book.
Oh,
you post several at one time.
Yeah, you're able to swipe.
For a photography page, it's better to post one at a time.
Yeah.
So when you look at the page as a whole, you can see everything, and you don't have to go and investigate.
Yeah.
And plus, we get more content that way. Like, the more that you're posting, you know, instead of just like that one with hella pictures.
That's what it's all about, too. The more content you put out, the more recognition you're going to get.
Plus, I mean, I think that in the near future, I would like to build a website for that purpose, just so we kind of have a bigger space to put more content onto. Yeah. Just because, I mean, there is a lot of content that we haven't displayed on Instagram.
There's so much that we haven't put out there yet, just because we're busy and or lazy.
Well, and there's sometimes it's like, you know, I'll be posting something and I can't decide between, you know, which of these pictures should I display? Yeah. Like, which of them will have more attention? So sometimes it's just a big toss-up. But I think I would like to have another platform to put more content onto so people can see more of the variety. So
we're also working on business cards.
Nice.
Yes, that's another thing that has to be done soon.
You guys have a logo? Is the logo in works?
And we need to make a logo and a watermark.
Oh, well, I know a guy who went to Art Center, and he is very...
What's his name?
He's infamous. How do you not know who I'm talking about? He's made many a logo.
Is it good old Kent Pickering?
Oh, of course.
Oh. I'm not throwing shade. That's what I'm just referencing him to.
I mean, he's the mentor. I don't know.
But, I mean, it is on the list. We need a logo. We need a watermark. So.
Oh, yeah, watermarks. You guys should start a blog. Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Like, market your guys' relationship as part of the business that people can follow along? Or not really? Is that something that you're not really interested in?
Well, I have been dabbling with the idea of starting a YouTube channel. And talking more... What I'm really interested in is, you know, is queer people and queer fashion and queer relationships and things like that. And so, you know, I feel like that's something that we could start together and also, you know, make our art a part of it and, you know, promote each other on our different things. I'd like to start doing, you know, I had this idea about interviewing my mom about my coming out process and all of that and you know, talking to other queer people about their experiences and things like that, because we're not newly gay, we have been for a while, but it's you know, this is, you know, our first gay relationship, and you know, figuring out why it's different than our previous relationships and things like that. And so I'd like to start something that circles around that.
That's cool.
But we could definitely, you know, collaborate and add Alley Cat Photography into that, I guess, and kind of combine our different platforms.
That'd be really cool. So, talking about the LGBT community and you guys' process and coming out and all that, how has the community as a whole, like, helped you guys in the business, have you guys done any shoots specifically targeted towards like a certain, the LGBT community or anything like that? Or
I mean, so far we've only, let's see. I mean,
we've done Pride.
Yeah,
you guys at Pride?
But that's not a specific, like, that's not a client. That's just us photographing our. We go to San Francisco Pride.
Yeah.
Every year, and we always we're the ones who get our pictures taken when we go to Pride, and we should start posting our gay pictures from Pride. Those are technically pictures that my friends have taken of us. But no, not as many as we would like, probably. Yeah. We don't have like a ton of friends in this area. We're still like, I don't know, trying to find our footing in that way, because we were both in relationships for a really long time with people who kind of isolated us. Like, I graduated high school, I moved to Humboldt, I moved back to Sacramento for this guy, and I had no friends anymore after that. And so, we're still trying to find our circle. Yeah. And so we spend a lot of time downtown at Badlands, the Mercantile Saloon, and so
like the Lavender District area.
Yeah. We love the Lavender District, and so maybe we can find people over there, and we can ask, do you want to be a part of this project? Find some more friends that way.
But I mean, I will say that the first time that we put pictures from San Francisco Pride up on the Instagram page,
it blew up.
Really?
People
completely.
It's a sign.
It was crazy.
People love gay.
Yes, they do. Oh boy.
Man, that's changed a lot the last few years.
I know, right? It's wild.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like we can use that to our advantage, and target that specific audience.
Yeah.
And
the demographic.
Yeah, because who doesn't love like a cute lesbian couple who does art together, like
it is very marketable,
right? Like,
yeah.
Not to be like, it's because of marketing, like that's just kind of how it worked out. But I recognize that all of my friends are like, oh my god, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Like, so that's something that we can use to our advantage.
And that's the thing, it's like, if you're trying to run a business, you're trying to do something, and you're not going to use all your resources that you have at your advantage. Like, why not?
Yeah.
That's crazy that we can say that that's our advantage now. Like, I don't know. I just think that's cool.
But that's really cool. That's amazing.
It's really cool.
Yeah. It's because it makes you guys unique. It's a unique thing, and people like unique stuff. I've been taking like marketing classes and stuff, and like I've referenced this on other podcasts, but like people or my professors have told me that we're moving now into a area with social media and everything that you have to market yourself, not just as like for businesses, but just like in general, like everything you put online, you have to think about like how it's going to reflect and make your overall like personal brand. It's crazy because everyone has a brand, even though they don't even think they do. And like, what's that going to make you look to everybody else? And like, if you can the more you can do to make that brand positive, you should take those steps. And I feel like that would be a step to take for you guys for sure. That would be super positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see.
It's something that we're both passionate about too. So I don't know. It's been really cool, like discovering that side of our lives. Yeah. And we both turned 21 around the same time, like after we had
21.
After we had gotten together.
Episode 21? Sorry. Anyways.
Well, we're 22 now, but it was a while ago. We had just turned 21 when we had gotten together, and so we started experiencing gay bars together and experiencing what it's like to live this kind of life together. We've never really discovered that outside of each other. And so it's been cool going on this journey together.
It's really unique, like I've said before. It's really that's why I wanted you guys on the podcast, because I'm like, this, first of all, they're in a relationship, they have a business together, they both support each other in the relationship and in the business.
Check and check.
And like, they're lesbian too. Like, that just adds another layer of it.
Too. People love lesbians.
Or kids, it pays to be gay.
It adds another layer to it. It's nice to see. It's nice to see.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So like, in the future, you guys are planning on doing more stuff on Instagram, more marketing on that and everything. Would you guys ever revisit Tumblr? Or is that kind of gone? Is that kind of gone?
Wow. I love Tumblr. I've never... So I love Tumblr. I love being on Tumblr. I love scrolling. I don't post any of my own content on there for whatever reason. Like,
I haven't been on Tumblr in years, but
I've forgotten about Tumblr.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone kind of has, but some people want it to come back, kind of like how back in the day everyone wanted MySpace to come back. So I'm curious, like with guests, of like how they feel about it.
I feel like Tumblr is like a very specific crowd. Tumblr would probably love us, to be honest. Are you we've never talked about Tumblr. Are you like a Tumblr person?
I mean, in high school, yeah. But, I mean, and if you still dig through Tumblr, I can still find that high school account from high school me, so.
What was your handle?
Oh, I don't remember.
What was your name?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
How do you not remember your Tumblr name?
It was just a bunch of... What are you doing?
I was looking for my phone. I know I updated mine recently.
It was just a bunch of... God, I don't even know how to describe it.
Melancholy?
Maybe we should just not. Yeah, probably melancholy, yeah.
My Tumblr was a lot of gay shit before it came out.
Really? Before you even...
It was a lot of... Because for me, it was like, oh, that's the aesthetic. Lesbian is the aesthetic. It's not because I'm a lesbian or anything. It's because... I don't know what the lesbian is.
I'm not gay.
No.
You're gay.
God, you're gay. I'm not gay. There were so many red flags, and that was one of them. There was a lot of rainbow flags, actually.
Oh. And while you were going through that process, like... Were these red flags that now looking back they were red flags, or like at the time you realized that this meant something, but you're like, no.
Oh my God, there are so many things where at the time I was like, no, that's normal. That doesn't mean anything. And now looking back at it, it's like I could probably fill a book with how
really.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's like actually kind of crazy. I remember this conversation that I had with my best friend when I was in like maybe 4th or 5th grade, and I watched this girl walk by, and I remember who this girl is, and I hope she doesn't listen to this ever, but she walks by, and I was just thinking like, oh my God, she's so beautiful, and I turned to my best friend at the time, and was like, do you ever look at a girl sometimes and just think that you could be a lesbian? And she goes, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that's normal then. That's fine. And then that was the end of that conversation. You know? But looking back at that now, I'm like, oh well, duh.
Yeah, it meant something.
Why didn't I realize that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's funny.
I mean...
Did you have anything like that too, Allie?
God, yeah. I mean, there were several times, and I remember thinking... I remember freaking out, number one, and trying to figure it out. And then I remember thinking, well, maybe I can just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Maybe if I just close my eyes, they'll just go away.
Yeah. But then, I mean, there was no way to ignore it at all at one point.
I think you were suppressing things for a longer time than I was. Because for me, it was like, I realized I was gay. It was like a train hit me. Like, I hadn't been thinking about it that much. And then one day I was like, well, I'm not technically gay. I guess... You know, by definition, I'm probably like pansexual. You know, I've dated men, I've loved men in the past, but I prefer blanket term like queer.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
But it all hit me at once, and then I came out immediately because I have a big fat mouth. So, like I can't hide things. Like I'm the worst liar in the world.
Right.
And so I didn't really have a whole lot of time of like, oh, I don't know if I should tell people.
Yeah.
Because there's no point.
It's one for me. It's like I didn't really think about should I say something. It was just one day this is kind of taking a plunge into my personal life.
That's fine. Whatever you want to say.
I mean, I was driving to have an office appointment with my therapist, and I was having so much anxiety, and I remember feeling really shaky, and then I remember wanting to, like, kind of, like, barely bringing it up to her, and she was fine talking about it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I said it out loud, and it's kind of like the shaking stopped, the anxiety stopped.
Wow.
It's kind of like everything on my shoulders just kind of like lifted, and I was like, well,
this is real. Whoa.
And I'm like, well, it doesn't sound ridiculous after saying it out loud.
Yeah.
So
Like, it makes sense.
And then once I left the office, I was like, hold up. Now I got to deal with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because she was in a relationship with a man at that point during this time. And so that's something you've got to deal
I
with.
remember that.
I was a single Pringle, so I didn't,
Really?
It was fine.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How, and if you guys don't want to talk about this aspect of it, I understand. But
Oh,
how, trying to word this correctly. When it came to your guys' specific and respective families, how was that?
We should do a whole another podcast about this topic.
I could split this whole thing in half, really, honestly.
Sure. I mean,
do you want to go first, or do you want me?
well, I mean, mine happened so fast. Like, it was kind of like, it was like I told my therapist this, and this was like on a Monday, and then the next few days, like, this all happened within 1 week for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, like, that same night, I told my grandma. The next day, I told my ex. And then, breakup happened. And then the next day after that, I told my mom. And that was interesting. And then, like, a few days later, I talked with family friends that have been they've been in a relationship and they're married, actually. Yeah. They've been together for a long time, and they kind of had to deal with all of this back when it wasn't normal.
Right.
There's a lot of gay family friends that come around the house. So, I mean, it's not like we've never been exposed to that.
Right.
True. But, I mean, for you, it was,
so for me, it was like, I was with my best friend at that point. Like, we were hanging out when I had realized it. You know, because I was looking for something on his phone, actually, and I found, something that looked kind of gay, and and I freaked out because he hadn't said anything to me. I was like, oh my God, like, what if he hates me after I figure this out? Yeah. And so I was like thinking about it, and I finally confronted him about it, and I was like, listen, like, I don't want you to be mad at me, but I found this on your phone. And he was like, oh, that's not mine, that was my cousin. Yeah, he's gay now. So he came out to me recently. Actually, he's out and he has a boyfriend, so that's fine. And then in that moment, for whatever reason, when I was confronting him, I was like, oh my God, like, the heavens opened up and little cherubs floated down with gay flags and like placed them on my shoulders. I was like, I think I'm bi.
They were like, you're gay.
In your ear.
Harmonize, like, gay. And yeah, I was like, I think I'm bi. And he was like, oh, dope. Okay. And then I just started coming out, like, to people from... I had not thought about that.
Wow.
Ever. And then when I didn't tell my mom in the best way. So I understand why she wasn't, like, 100% receptive to it at first. Because we were fighting about something. I had done something bad. I had been in trouble. And I was telling her about this bad thing that I did. Yeah. And she was like... well, is there anything else that you need to tell me? Is there anything else that you want to say while we're talking? And I'm like, yeah, there is. I think I'm bi. And she's like, what? And, that my mom grew up on a farm in Peoria, Illinois. Oh. So she's fine with gay people, and she loves Allie now. Like, it's stupid. You guys are the same person. It's so weird. Oh. But it took a long time for her to... I think come around. It wasn't until I don't think she believed me, actually, for a long time. A lot, because, I grew up and I was, like, wearing weird clothes. I was wearing men's clothing, and I was wearing all black all the time, and it was like, oh, she wants attention. I do things for attention. That's kind of how it was growing up.
That's a perception.
Yeah, and so... I think for a long time, it was that, everybody's like, oh, being gay, that's a trend, you know? And so I'm sure, and I do not blame her at all for thinking that. It was actually my boyfriend who told her, and she finally believed it once he had had a conversation with her about it. That was the day that I shaved my head, actually, and they were having a conversation about it, and that came to the topic. But my family's been great. That's
awesome.
My stepmom... we were just in the kitchen, and I said, hey, Heather, do you want to hear something weird? She's like, yeah. And I said, I'm bisexual. And she just kind of puts everything down. She's like, shut the fuck up. That's awesome. And we went to San Francisco Pride like 3 days later.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was always such a good kid, and my stepmom was a crazy kid. She's been a wild child, and she's been in my life since first grade. Like, I'm very comfortable with her.
Right.
And my whole life, she's been buying me books on, like, how to not be a shitty teenager. And I think she was, like, prepping for me to be a shitty teenager, and then I wasn't, and she was kind of disappointed. And so
she wanted to relate to somebody.
And I know. And so finally, like, I did something that's like not quite normal, you know, and she was like, thank God. Oh my God. Like, finally.
Something.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you weren't perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
And so, yeah, I don't know. And that was good. And it's been good
That's
ever
good.
since. But when I had initially come out, I got into a relationship with a man for a really long time, and so I think it was kind of swept under the rug and forgotten about.
Yeah.
And then once we had broken up, I think there was actually, I don't even know if I've ever told you this, there was a time while I was dating him, I sat down with my mom and cried and was like, I don't know if I want this forever. Like, I think I need to be in a relationship with a woman. At some point. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know why you're bothering with this then. Like, you know, if you know that that's what you want. And then I stayed in that relationship for like another year after that conversation. And so I think once I had finally started dating Allie, like, you could see the change, like how happy I am and like how good we are together. Like, she and my mom, you guys are stupid similar. Like, it's kind of weird sometimes, honestly. Like, you guys are best friends.
True.
Yeah. You have the same sense of humor. You're both Geminis. Like,
ooh, Gemini. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot you're a Gemini.
Everybody always shits on you after they learn that you're a Gemini.
Marco knows my whole, what is it?
Birth chart.
Oh,
the birth chart.
And my
we were talking about this after you were talking about it.
Yeah,
when you did she came home and was like, yeah, he's like an astrology person. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I am.
What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn. Well, okay. Well, my big three, I'm a Cap Sun, Libra rising, and Libra moon.
So what does that say about your personality?
Well, like I told Allie when we were driving back to Elk Grove from the shoot, man, we're just going all over the board with topics.
I know.
No. This is great. These are the best. People enjoy these. So what I was taught and what I was told about astrology is your sun sign is the sign that you will grow into as you mature. So as you get older, you learn things that will make you become a mature, in my case, Capricorn, since that's my sun sign. When you're born, that's your moon sign. So like you are more prominently showing signs of your moon sign. So for me, when I was younger, which it definitely makes sense. I was a super emotional kid, and which, you know, yeah, I was emo. I was pretty fucking emo. I still kind of am, but it's more refined now.
We love that.
Yes. But yeah, so like Libras are very lovey people. Like when they love somebody, like they will do anything for them at any time, and they just will throw everything down for them. Which I definitely was that type of person when I was younger. You grow, you mature, you experience stuff, and now I'm not really that way. Okay. I'm more of the Capricorn way of like, cool. If it makes sense, yes. But I'm not gonna like fucking give everything to somebody. Like, that's stupid. Yeah. So that's kind of what it means. But your rising sign is specifically like how people perceive you on your journey from like being a immature moon sign to a mature sun sign. So, interesting. And because I'm a double Libra, a lot of people, from what I've been told, okay, I'm not just patting myself on the fucking back, but a lot of people have said like, I'm a very real person. Like, I don't put up fronts for people and stuff.
Well, that's true.
Because I'm a Libra rising and a Libra moon, so like I really am like, what you see is really what you get.
Good.
I would agree with that actually about him.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So that's really what my perception of that whole thing is. But do you know yours?
I don't know my sun and my moon. Like, I don't.
You don't know your sun?
I don't know what the difference is. I know when I was born and what sign is associated with that. What do you think my sign is? I always love hearing what people think I am, because a lot of people get it right.
Okay, if you're a Gemini, Allie, I have to think about this.
Well, I mean, he looked at my chart. It looks like I'm just developing more into a Gemini.
Yeah.
I guess only the good traits.
Because you're a
people
Gem...
associate Gemini with piece of shit like, all the time.
Because she's a Gemini rising, too, I believe. So, I think you're like a Pisces, like, moon or some shit. I forget.
could be,
I forget what it was. But I just remember your rising and your sun were the same. And I was like, that makes so much sense because, like, you're just, like, the easiest person to talk to. But if I were to guess your sun sign, I'm assuming, I want to say Taurus.
Oh,
Taurus. So sun sign, what... So when I tell people my sign,
That's your sun. Like,
okay.
the one that people, like, you can look up on, like, any astrology website super
Okay.
easily. That's your sun sign.
Not a Taurus.
Wow.
My birthday's July 1st. I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer?
Yeah. And normally, like, that's the one, that's the thing that people guess.
I am shook, yeah.
That's the thing that people
Really?
guess. People who know me, I mean, I met you today. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You probably, like, wouldn't get it right, but
That makes sense.
I'm such an emotional idiot. The best way to describe it. Like, the other day,
Yeah,
I was
very
looking
emotional
at,
people.
I was looking at home water births on YouTube, and I was sobbing. And I when we first got together, Allie told me, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know.
That's
I told
so
you
funny.
I'm an emotional idiot.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
So Allie told me this recently when we first got together, and
Yeah.
I do not remember this conversation. She was like, yeah, when we first got together, you told me that you don't really cry that much and that you're not like, or what was it? You said,
she's like, I'm not really sensitive.
I'm really
like,
I'm
like-
fucking a lie.
and I kind of looked at her like, oh, buckle up, because I am.
And then a year later, she's like, you're a fucking liar. I cry at literally anything and everything.
Everything.
Sometimes she comes home and she tells me a good thing she did. Like, she
I
just
stood up for myself.
She stood up for herself, and I get tears in my eyes because I'm like,
so proud.
that's my baby. I'm so proud of you. Like,
Or the other day, I
Yeah.
call her after I'm off from work, and she's like, I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm watching this dog have babies on YouTube. And I'm like,
I watched a dog give birth to puppies, and I was crying. And she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Oh, my God.
and
I try to front like I'm cool, you know.
That's
like,
a-
but that sounds
That sounds
I'm
like
not.
it
I'm
sounds like
literally
a Cancer, yeah.
I'm the least cool person.
Yeah, that
in
sounds
the
like
world.
it. Least cool as, like, yeah, no, I know what you mean by that. Yeah. That's interesting. I want to know your whole birth chart, man.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Really?
Like, no. So I was born July 1st,
Okay.
and that's all I really know. Like, that
Well,
goes into it.
you have that handy dandy
Oh,
co-star
I do.
app.
Yeah, I have the CoStar app.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If anyone wants to know their
It says-
sign,
Yeah, so I
upload the co-star app.
this,
But only if
this
you have
podcast
iPhone.
is not sponsored
Oh,
by
true.
CoStar.
But please, if
Oh,
you want
yeah.
to, if you
No,
want
come on.
to, if you want to sponsor us, CoStar, please do.
Hashtag
That'd be
not
awesome.
spawn. Oh, today I have pressure in work and social life.
Yeah, that makes
I don't
sense.
feel that. Trouble with sex and love.
Ooh, Allie.
Get out.
Get out.
So where do I find it? So it says
I don't know how CoStar works personally, but
here. So it says Cancer, and then there's an up sign, Libra.
That's your
so it's-
rising.
oh, you're
I'm
a Libra
Here,
rising.
this right here, you can interpret what that means.
Yeah, so you're a sun sign. That's interesting. Yeah, your sun sign is Cancer, rising is Libra. Your moon is Gemini.
I don't know what that even means.
So you guys can relate to each other because
Oh.
you started your life as an immature Gemini. She's growing into a mature Gemini, and she shows herself to be a Gemini too because that's her rising sign, which makes sense as to why you guys are so compatible because you understand each other on that level.
So it's only up from here.
But-
I love
yeah.
couples therapy with Marco.
Thank you. Yeah, come over, man. Anybody
Listen to the Closers
Listen to
podcast
the Closers.
for couples therapy.
Yeah. I'll just be doing nothing but couples 1 month, and I'll just like psychoanalyze them. But yeah, because see, what the fuck? Wait, you're a moon? You're a Gemini moon too, Allie?
Me? Yeah.
It says you're Gemini across the board.
Yeah.
Right here.
Whoa.
You knew that.
Well, I forgot about that. That makes a lot of sense. So you just who you are.
Yeah. what you see is what you get.
That's
Wow.
really cool.
With some emotional sensitivity backlash. But
Yeah. And then you can go like super deep into it and see like your Mars sign and your Saturn and but I don't go that deep. That's just too much for me.
Well,
Who has
buckle up. We're going to go all the way through the...
Buckle up. Is that just your thing you say? Yeah. Well, buckle up, buckaroo, because I'm gonna...
She literally... My favorite thing about Allie is that she talks like a 97-year-old woman. Like, you should listen. I don't think I've ever heard her say, like, I'm gonna go take a piss, or like, I need to pee. Stop. She says, no, I'm gonna... the people need to know. She doesn't say pee. She says urinate.
Really? I'm surprised she even says that. I feel like she'd be like, I need to go and use the facilities or something.
The loo.
The latrine.
Yeah, like that's very her. Or she says drat, non-ironically, like in real sentences. She goes, oh, drat. I think you'd literally say that on the way here.
Yeah, drats.
I don't want to slip at work and lose my job.
Wait, you can get fired for saying fuck or something like that?
I mean, it's just an assumption.
You always think you're going to get fired from the most random bullshit.
That's hilarious.
Or you go, I don't remember what we were like talking shit about somebody online. I don't even remember what it was or who it was. And she goes, you called them an uncultured shrew. That shrew, uncultured shrew. I'm like, I have never heard anybody. For those listening, Marco is laying down now.
Uncultured shrew. Where do you learn these things? Like,
she's an old lady trapped in a 22-year-old body. It's crazy.
Were you just born knowing these phrases?
Shockingly, this is how my sisters and I would talk.
Oh.
And I don't know where they got it because they're younger. I'm the oldest.
Is it just funny? Is it funny to you, like, to use those phrases? Because I say some phrases.
She doesn't use it ironically, though. It's like her actual verbiage and like how she says things.
That's your vocabulary.
I'm a trucker, and
same.
I'm vulgar and crude and horrible, and it's just so funny.
I also grew up with a mother that, I mean, even to this day, I haven't said fuck in front of her. So,
really?
And if she listens to this, I'm fucked, so.
Really? Is she? What? Wow, that's crazy.
To this day, she hasn't heard me say that, and she's said, you don't say that word, do you? And I'm like,
no,
well.
Not at all.
And I've responded with, only when necessary.
I remember in high school when, like, you wouldn't cuss either. Like, early high school.
It took me a while.
Baby.
Yeah, and I would be around you just like, what the fuck is your problem, Allie? Or and you'd just be like, I don't understand why you have to use that language. And I'm like,
I can picture this so vividly.
Just this little young Allie. I don't understand what you're saying to me.
Yeah. That is getting me very perturbed or some shit. And I'm just like, yo, like, can you just calm down? I don't know.
There was, which I still feel bad about. There was one day in Spanish class, senior year, that I snapped at Marco.
I don't remember this.
I felt
That's
I still feel bad.
It happened, and I don't doubt it, but I just don't remember the specifics.
Like, even Brenna was shook. She was like,
tea party. What happened? What's the beef?
I don't know. Like, Allie could tell. I just remember specifically, like, would I mess with Allie? Yes. Would I mess with Brenna? Yes. I would mess with, like, everyone in that, like, little corner of that class, because I was, like, this one kid, Daniel, and this other, like, freshman kid who I would, like, mess with. I would mess with everybody. I don't know why, but I was just so bored. And
You're really easy to mess with, to be honest. Like, it's really easy to poke your buttons. Like, it's really it's fun. But you're a good sport. Apparently not in this scenario. Apparently not in this situation.
I don't even know, because I feel like the standard of, like, snapping, like, when Allie says I snap.
Yeah, that's true. It's a different level.
That, like, when you snap, like, you're, like, in my face, red, like, fucking seething out the mouth.
I know.
But with Allie, she's just like, can you shut up? That's I like snap for
how
Allie.
I compare Allie when I talk about Allie being mad. I often compare her to, like, a hamster holding a shank. Like, that's like if a hamster coming at you with a knife.
Yeah,
like, that's
like little hands.
That's
itty bitty body.
I've always, you know what? That is super true. I've always thought about that concept, but you just put it into words. So I thank you for that, because that is the truth. Yeah.
Just an angry hamster.
An angry hamster.
And that's kind of like, I'll come back after work and I'll give her stories and I'll be like, I got so mad at this woman, and
like, she probably didn't know.
Like, and
she probably could not tell when you were mad,
like unfazed.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
Like, one day I told a customer, you know what, you're just gonna have to bear with me, and I felt like I was gonna get in trouble, but the lady was just
that's
like
okay.
Literally
things that normal people say in their jobs. Just bear with us.
But
you take that as like you just like ripped her fucking head off.
Because like on the inside it feels like I get heated, and then to the other person they're like, okay, all right.
My favorite is when we get in a fight about something, or no, we're not even a fight about something at this point. You're like, you come up to me out of nowhere and you're like, I'm sorry, I was being such a bitch, and I was like, when? What are you talking about? Like, I literally, this happens all the time. And she's like, you know, when I was doing this, I'm like, I wasn't even. What? I wasn't upset. Like I
you
didn't
were being
even
a
know,
bitch? Well, now I'm upset. Why were you being a bitch?
You do that all the time where you come up and you're just like, I'm sorry, like, if I'm acting this way. And I'm like, you are literally fine.
That's so funny.
You are the nicest person that I've ever met in my whole life. Like,
That's hilarious.
Don't even.
Oh, my God.
It's fine.
Yeah. Allie, you're
That's
a character.
Kind of your personality in a nutshell. And I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I had a client. I do lash extensions as my job, and so a lot of the time it's like rich old ladies who come in who are very like
named Karen.
Yeah, I get a lot of Karens.
You get a lot of Karens.
I get a lot of Karens, and there was one day where this woman came in and she had the craziest story. She comes in and she was talking to me about how she's moved in with this boyfriend. It's only been 2 months. They've been together.
Yeah.
And he's got kids.
Oof.
And baby mama's out of the picture. She's like,
okay.
He's just giving all of his attention to his children, and I'm not getting enough attention. We're not married. We still have a relationship to build. And I was like, oof, this is bad. And she's like, I just want your advice. I'm like, do you really want to know what I think? Because I'll tell you what I think.
Oh, yeah.
And I told her, I was like, if you like this guy, then there's literally nothing more important than the relationship between, you know, the kids and their father. Like, and if you like the kids, if you love the father, like, you'll support that. Yeah. She never came back to me. Because I don't play. Like, you know, I tell it how it is.
Mm-hmm. People don't want... Yeah, people sometimes don't want actual advice. They just want to hear that they're right.
I know. I've started... making like a little spiel when people are like, oh, tell me about you, tell me about your life, and I give like a very generic like, oh, this is me, this is what I'm about, because sometimes people just get too involved, and
they do.
It's a little bit crazy.
Especially I believe in like that type of environment. I feel like it's easy for people to get caught up in somebody else's lives in that moment while you're doing their lashes or something, and then like they say something that kind of ticks you off,
right?
Or they just assume stuff, and
I love it when people talk to me about politics while I'm doing their lashes. I'm like, so bad. My God, Karen, I just met you. Like, let's not talk about. My favorite. There was one recently where this woman comes in. It's her first time ever coming in, and I think she's drunk at this point. Like, which in itself is a bad idea. Like, I'm using sharp objects near your eyeballs.
Yeah,
like,
that's not good.
And she comes in and she immediately starts talking about my manager, and she's like, who's that girl up front who has the long eyelashes? And I'm like, oh, that's my manager. Like, she's really cool. I like her a lot. And she's like, she needs to go to the dentist. She looks like she hasn't been to the dentist in her whole life. And I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
How can you... I don't know you like that. Why are you talking about my style? Like, so crazy. Like, people say the craziest things, and then she's like asking me about my personal life, and this is when I started to develop like a generic backstory. I was like, oh yeah, like I live with my partner. She was asking me a lot of personal questions, and she's like, oh, where do you live? Who do you live with? Like, what's going on? And I didn't allude to a gender because I don't know people like that. You know, like, I don't know who's gonna be mad, and I refer to Allie as my partner. And it gets quiet, and all of a sudden she like yells. She goes, oh, you're a lesbian. So fucking loud. I was like, girl, like, you can't just like yell that. Like, everybody in my studio knows, but like, what if they didn't? You know, like, oh my God, people be crazy. So I just started to give like a generic backstory.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got licensed at this time. Like, I'm an esthetician, and this is what I do. And like, let's not talk about me, because...
Yeah, let's talk about you. And and then they start talking about themselves. You're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
like, you
Why
can
did
just
I
sleep. Just
sleep. Just close your eyes.
Sleep.
Yeah. Like, have you been doing that for a long time?
Almost a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's fine. Yeah, I like it. It's just, it's kind of hard on my body. Like, my hands are kind of like this all the time. Like, I get crab hands because you're like this.
Yeah.
and it's fine.
Yeah.
I like being an esthetician,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be going back to school in the spring.
Oh, nice.
Probably for communications.
Hey!
Actually, so that's another thing that
Sick.
we can do together.
Nice.
Yet another thing.
Yeah. Because we're
just
like,
morphing into one human being.
we really, people like to comment on how we're just morphing into one person, which is fine.
I support it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I support it. I'm right there.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Marco.
Yep. Well, we're already at like 80 minutes, so I think that's
Holy
good.
crap,
That's a good
wow.
time. Yeah, it flies by, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys definitely have to come back on.
Totally.
Hopefully, I'm thinking November maybe. I have some stuff planned for October, but November's pretty open. So
Okay.
if you guys are free around then yeah.
Perfect.
Well, this has been the Closers Podcast. And, this Friday is going to be another episode of Closing Out the Week. I'm going to have some people on from the Closers Podcast Fantasy Football League breaking down week 1 previews and stuff like that. So that'll be really fun. And then next week I have the one and only Leviticus Kane, my friend. He's a rapper, producer. He did everything for his album, the Pipe Dream, the mixtape, and we're going to be talking extensively about that. If you like really raw conversations, you're going to like that conversation because he gets pretty personal, and it's a really good one. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time. Take care now. Oh, and also follow Alley Cat Photography on Instagram at Alley Cat Photography.
Thank you.
Yes, please do that. Can't forget to say that. Okay, now bye.